Evening. Welcome to Daily Focus, and thank you for joining me again and starting your week out with me. I hope that you had as marvelous a weekend as what I did and what our church did. Wonderful opportunities to meet numbers of people from our community and to be able to open our property to them and to care for them and so it was a wonderful weekend, beautiful, of course. And this Monday morning is off to a great start. We're in Psalm chapter 70. I've entitled this one, "Let God Be Magnified." And I guess I would preface this chapter by just drawing our attention to the elections. And tomorrow is primary election day in Michigan, and I think every eligible voter should be a good steward of this freedom and not be lazy or irresponsible with it, but to be a good steward of it and go and vote, and not just vote, but vote biblically, vote as an informed voter and an involved voter that would seek to make God's plan successful. And so it really isn't electing who I like or who I want. It really is electing the person who most aligns themselves with God's model of government and who is going to promote good and that which is right for our state and local governments. And so it is an important election. Even in the primary, sometimes it doesn't get the attention, and sometimes people don't think it is all that important. It really is important. And so we ought to be wise with it. But I don't know about you, but I almost feel like if somebody needs to run an ad attacking someone else or discrediting someone else or trying to take words and cut this sentence out of an interview or whatever, it almost feels like, if that candidate has to do that to other candidates, it almost disqualifies them in my book. Unfortunately, it seems like in our day and age, that would almost disqualify everyone because everyone's trying to catch people in an aha moment in order to represent them in the light that they want them to be represented. Whether it's true or not doesn't make any difference as long as it accomplishes what I'm trying to do in how I discredit them. And it's just really sad that our whole society has come to this place where we look for aha moments. I'm going to pounce on that. I'm going to use that against them. I'm glad I know that information. Oh, I'm glad I was here to hear that. And I'm going to use that against them. It's just so sad that candidates today do not feel like they can run on the merits of what they're going to do, but rather they feel like they have to try to use fear in presenting what their opponents are going to do or what their opponents are really motivated by. And they spend all their time telling me about other opponents rather than just talking about why do they have to mention the other opponents? Well, they feel like they have to mention the other opponents because the other opponents are mentioning them. And I'm like, when can somebody put their big boy pants on and actually do the right thing rather than doing what you do because of what other people do? I tried to discipline that out of my kids when they were little and teach them to take personal responsibility for their decisions and to make sure their decisions were proper and right. Well, in Psalm chapter 70, with that premise, you can hear David is under attack. He says, "Make haste, O God, to deliver me. Make haste to help me, O Lord. Let them be ashamed and confounded that seek after my soul. Let them be turned backwards and put to confusion that desire my hurt. Let them be turned back for a reward of their shame that say, aha, aha. Let all those that seek thee rejoice and be glad in thee. And let such as love thy salvation say continually, let God be magnified. But I am poor and needy. Make haste unto me, O God. Thou art my help, and thou art my deliverer, O Lord, to make no tarrying." In other words, David is saying, you know what? I am just going to turn to the Lord and say, God, would you be my helper? And would you deal with my enemies? And in the process, all those that love you and trust you and are delivered by you, let God be magnified. Let's just make much of God. I would love to hear a political candidate. I don't know if this would make it for sure they would never get elected in our society. But wouldn't it be refreshing if we could have someone run for political office that had this model? Let God be magnified. Not let me be magnified. Don't let my party be magnified. Don't let my accomplishments be magnified. Don't make this all about me, but let's make it about God. Let's let God be magnified. Let's have a coming back to God moment. And let's make much of who God is and what he's like, what he has done, what he's doing, what he's promised to do. These would be amazing things. But instead, what we see in our world is people always trying to catch people, trying to have an aha moment. And they're constantly on the prowl for who they can destroy by capturing a moment, by catching them in something. And that's what David was referring to. Turn them back for the reward of their shame, who say, aha, aha, I caught you, I got you. I asked the right question at the right time, or I spun something at the right time to twist you up, and I've got it on tape, and now I'm going to present it the way that I want, and I'm going to discredit or destroy you. What a terrible way to live life. What a selfish way to live life. When you live life thinking that you've got to try to catch everyone in something to show how smart you are and how dumb they are. And so David is saying, you know what? They've been trying to catch me in things. They've been trying to discredit me. So I'm just going to turn to God. And I'm going to say, let's do this. Let's let God be magnified. Let's make much of God. And so as we start this week and go into a primary election week, let's just make much of God. Let's show how much we trust him. Let's commit people over to him because he will always do the right thing, and know that we can trust him. May God bless you. I hope you have a great day and a great week. I hope it gets off to a great start as we magnify God together.